Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's doing fantastic. My name is Alvaro Leal. I'm your Wayland Baptist University Advanced Computer Applications professor. Today, we're going to be doing lesson number 3. And in this lesson, we're going to have two people traveling with their families or their husband. In the case of Susan, it's going to be two people traveling. And in the case of Tim, it's going to be him and his wife and his two kids. So that's four people traveling. So in one case, you'll have two, and the other one, you'll have four, but everything else pretty much is going to stay the same. So what you're going to have to do is create a spreadsheet and decide which of the three trips is the least expensive. So you're going to create a bar chart which shows which city is the best to go to because of the savings for each case. So they're going to have the Susan case, you're going to have the Tim case. But once you finish the Susan case, you just copy and paste it and do the Tim case. And all you got to do is change from two people to four people. All right. Without further ado, let's go ahead and watch the video.
To the next lesson of Excel problem solvers. This is number 3, where we're going to take Susan and Tim and ask them what they want to buy. We'll evaluate this with a spreadsheet and then hopefully come up with a graph. So Susan and Tim are both going on vacation, and they're going to explore either a Caribbean cruise, Orlando, or Chicago. First of all, she says, "I'm Susan. Would you help me pick one of these 3 vacations? My husband and I like all 3 vacation ideas, but we want to spend as little as possible. We will fly, stay 5 nights and 4 days. Tell me which one of these will cost the least." And so we're going to build a spreadsheet to answer that question. Which one of these will cost the least? Let's look at the details of what kind of vacations they are. The Caribbean cruise is the simplest. It's $555 with almost everything included. The only thing it does not include, it says here, is airfare. So we have to buy plane tickets to get to Miami. Orlando has theme parks. And so they're going to spend 4 days and look at each theme park. So for her, it's going to cost twice the price of each ticket. They're not going to rent a car, it says in the small print. They will spend money on a hotel, and they estimate $50 per person on food each day. Lastly, we have Chicago. Chicago is a city of museums, and so they're going to go visit the Natural History, the Museum of Art, the Science Museum, and the Broadcast History Museum. And so each of these prices is per person. In Chicago, they have to rent a car. Their hotel is a little bit more money, and they estimate about $50 per day for food. And this box over here, we show the costs of the airline. So Miami, Orlando, and Chicago are all different costs, and those are per person. Now let's look at how we would build a spreadsheet. First of all, we have a column for each city. So we have Chicago, Orlando, and Miami. At the bottom of the page, we're eventually going to have a total for all of these cities. So we'll find out the answer down here, and then we'll make a graph. I've divided the costs up into per person expenses. So if you have more people in your family, per person expenses will go up. And then hotel expenses, assuming that all people stay in the same room, it will cost the same for 2 people as it will for 4. And so the hotel is more of a fixed cost per night rather than per person. Now, for some of these, we won't have a number. For instance, if we look at Chicago, we will have no money for Disneyland, so we can just put a 0 in there. Also, for like the museum, the Science Museum, we will not have a Science Museum cost in Orlando. Some of these costs will be just 0. It appears that there's something missing. I have hotels and tickets, but there is also car rentals. So you might want to include another car rental expense somewhere down at the bottom and then add that into the subtotal. So calculate all of the subtotals, per person expenses, hotel expenses, car expenses, add them together, compare the 3 cities, and give Susan her answer with a bar graph. Once you have finished with Susan, then you can use her work to copy and paste a new chart, a new bar graph, and you'll have Tim's answers as well. Remember, he has 2 children, so his per person expenses will be higher. Good luck in helping Tim and Susan pick their vacation.
All right, guys. So once you're done, you're gonna submit it to Blackboard. But let's go over some stuff just to clarify. So right here, when you're doing these, remember some of these are gonna be zero. So down here, you're gonna do to get this total of tickets per person. You're just gonna do equal sum, and you're just gonna go from B5 to B15, and then the number of people per group, this would be a 2. And then 19 would be equal sum B17 times B18. And then the hotel cost, remember, it's not per person because it's a one, it's just a charge. All right, and then you're just gonna multiply by the number of nights, and so this one would be equal sum B22 times B23. And don't forget the car rental expenses. You have to add it at the bottom, and then once you have everything, you're gonna add this one, and the car rental to, so you'll be like equal sum B19 plus B24 plus wherever the car rental total is, and then you're going to set it equal down here, and then you're going to do the same thing for these. And then once you're done, what I recommend is you grab the whole thing, you copy and paste it over here, and you change the Susan to Tim, and then you're going to just change the number of people. Instead of here, this would be 2, 2, 2. In the case of Tim, it would be 4, 4, 4. And then once you're done with all the items, you're going to come down here and you're going to grab the totals, and you're going to insert a bar chart for Susan, and you're going to insert a bar chart for Tim, and then you're going to, in that way, you're going to be able to decide. And remember to label each city: Chicago Museum, Orlando Theme Park, Miami Cruise. Each one should have a bar chart, and then that should be the name of the axis for the bar chart. All right, guys. If you have any questions, go ahead and text me or send me a message through email, whatever, and I will try to help you. And bye bye.